Well, welcome back. Hope you all enjoyed your ice cream. Bloody rip-off, isn't it? Yeah, about £3 for a small pot of ice cream. What a joke. But other politics stories this year included Oliver Letwin, cabinet minister. He was found to be throwing correspondence into a bin in his local park, quite bizarrely. But the main scandal this year was Dr. Liam Fox. It was revealed that he was a doctor, but apparently wasn't a fox, which caused a few problems. And then he got his best friend Adam Werrity, to appear next to him. You know, they used to dress up the same, that kind of thing. He had no specific knowledge of defence matters, but nonetheless he just turned up. I mean, I can't believe he'd just bring his friend on for no reason, even though they didn't have any knowledge. Jimbo, what do you think about
that? I don't know, to be honest. I've got no specific knowledge of why I'm here.
Well, I thought I'd just bring you on. Nice jumper that you got, by the way.
Yeah, a bit like yours, isn't it, really?
Yeah. Where did you get it from?
Top Man.
All right. Well,
yeah.
I say all right. Yeah, I was with you at the time. We got them together, didn't we? But there you go. Anyway, thanks for coming on. I'll see you later.
See you.
As I say, in the end, Liam Fox had to resign. I've not read his full resignation speech, but I'm advised that there is a full copy available in Oliver Letwin's bin, apparently. Other major stories this year included super injunctions. A number of people were involved in super injunctions. That included Ryan Giggs, the footballer, who was named in Parliament as being the subject of a super injunction, having taken out a super injunction. Want to make that clear. I'm not saying that he had a super injunction, just that he was named in Parliament as having a super injunction, because there may still be a super injunction in place. If I say that he had taken out a super injunction, then I could be in breach of that and put in jail. I don't want to go to jail. There's some pretty nasty men in jail. Some of them allegedly have more sex than Ryan Giggs, if that's possible. But as I say, all I'm saying, he was named in Parliament, has been taken out a super injunction. Other well-known super injunctions include Andrew Marr, who apparently was involved in an affair with a woman in a seaside town in Kent. It was called Margate. That was the name of the scandal and the place where they had the affair. And it's alleged that he got a female journalist pregnant. That was allegedly taken out. Well, the super injunction wasn't taken out by Andrew Marr. It was taken out by the woman who was subject to it, because, let's be honest, you wouldn't want to have it known that you had an affair with Andrew Marr, would you? Let's be honest. Similarly, Sir Fred Goodwin, Chief Executive of RBS, he is alleged to have had an affair, so it was more talking about, it was more bonus than bonus for Sir Fred, RBS. RBS standing for Red-Blooded Stud, presumably, after what he was up to. You'd have thought he'd probably be a bit more concerned about his job, but there you go. Another thing involved was phone hacking as well. It's a bit ironic, really, that on the one hand, people complain that celebrities, don't deserve the privacy in terms of super injunctions, but come phone hacking, it's a disgrace that you're infringing on people's private lives. One of the the ultimate upshot of the phone hacking thing was that the News of the World closed down, which was a shame. They did some good work, the News of the World. They think the amount of paediatricians they traced out of our towns. That takes some doing, that. There are a lot of major players in it as well. James Murdoch, he was the head of News Corporation. I mean, he overcame his amnesia to become head of News Corporation. He couldn't remember a thing, the poor bloke. You asked him a question, he'd give an answer, and then he'd forget about it. You wrote something down his calendar, can't remember being there. You sent him an email, he'd read it, but then can't remember it either. So, he did really well to become the head of News Corporation. Rebecca Brooks, similarly, head of News International. She was a bit unfortunate. I mean, she couldn't remember a thing either. And she was actually asked to investigate her own conduct at one point, which must have been a bit confusing. So in the end, she was forced to resign. Another major player, Andy Coulson, he didn't do anything wrong, but had to resign from 2 jobs, which was very unfortunate. I mean, resigning from 2 jobs despite not doing anything wrong, that really is unfair. In the entertainment world, a lot happened. One of the main stories of the year was Bruce Forsyth, who was given a knighthood. When he was knighted by the Queen, she rested the sword on his shoulder and said, "It's nice to serve you nice." It was initially a CBE as well, Bruce Forsyth, but he said to the Queen he wanted to go higher, so she gave him a knighthood. She said higher than a CBE, knighthood, and he got it. But I think the main reason he got his knighthood was for services to complain about not being given a knighthood. but thoroughly deserved nonetheless. A well-known celebrity death this year as well. Unfortunately, the late Sir Jimmy Savile passed away. He made one more television programme that's going to be shown posthumously, which involved Sir Jimmy scanning in documents and then emailing them to people throughout the world. But unfortunately, the scanner broke before the programme started, so what he had to do was he had to send them down the telephone line by telephonic transfer. That programme is going to be called Jim'll Fax It. In the sports world, one major story about on the entertainment world was a quote. Something was said live on TV that really did ruffle quite a few feathers. And during an episode of The One Show, someone said they should be taken outside and shot in front of their families. That was John Terry talking about Anton and Rio Ferdinand. And it was actually Jeremy Clarkson, but he was making a sideswipe against the BBC, and his quote was completely taken out of context. And he ended up looking a bit silly. Many complaints. But the ugly head of racism did unfortunately rear itself in football again. Luis Suarez was given an 8-game ban for making a racist comment. To be fair to Suarez, he said that it wasn't racist, but he was just trying to fit in with the people of Liverpool. Similarly, the Spanish footballer Sergio Busquets, Barcelona player, was alleged to have made a racist comment towards Real Madrid player Marcelo. He allegedly called him El Mono, which means monkey. If they called him El Stereo, that would have meant two monkeys. Also, another sports story was Mike Tindall, England rugby player. He broke the world record for longest distance anyone's ever thrown a dwarf. That was on an infamous night out in Wellington. Tindall was given the boot shortly afterwards. The dwarf in question was said that he wasn't happy. It was Doc, apparently. So it's moving on now anyway to the celeb-ometer. And who have I met recently? Well, I met the Prime Minister Gordon Brown. Shook hands with him last year, which was quite an interesting one, quite an event. I was wearing some quite elaborate headwear at the time. It was quite large. He called me a big-hatted man. It was 2 days after he'd made the bigoted woman comment that I met him, and then he subsequently lost the election and what have you. I also sat, in my pre-tweets from a train days, I sat on a train next to Darren Day on a fold-down seat. So there we were, infamous Love Rat, who's been involved in many sex scandals, and Darren Day was sat next to me as well. I was on a fold-down seat as well, and if you think your life's in disarray, then try sitting on a fold-down seat next to Darren Day outside of the main carriage of a train. That really is quite tragic. So it's time now for Headline of the Year, and this headline is regarding Talisa Kontraveit. It's regarding Talisa from The X Factor, and it said, Talisa, fan tried to kill me. So probably not much of a fan, you would say, if the fan in question tried to kill her. I mean, I'm a big Coldplay fan, but wouldn't want to kill Chris Martin. Similarly, I'm not a big Justin Bieber fan, so fill in the gaps there. I didn't really watch X Factor this year. Didn't like the people who won it, that little mix. Tell you what I did like, though, was the girl band who were on at the start, Rhythmics. Thought they were really good. They were my tip to win, but I'm not sure what happened to them in the end. And now it's time for Quote of the Year as well. This one comes from the blonde-haired Welsh person, Robbie Savage. He said, "Tonight he's not had a kick, other than the two headers." So not a great comment there from Robbie Savage. Clearly, he's obviously not had a kick, 'cause he's been heading the ball. There you go. So no, it's time to go. I hope everyone's enjoyed this episode of the Fish Tank, this end of year episode. Before I go, I leave with news that apparently a man who took his dog to Crufts to try and enter it one year had his dog shaved by the organisers of Crufts and told to come back next year when his dog had regrown its hair. Apparently, they deferred his entry for 1 year. So thank you very much, and goodbye.